They pave, They pave paradise and put up a parking lot with a pink hotel, a boutique, and a swinging hot spot. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They pave paradise, put up a parking lot. They took all the trees, put them in a tree museum, and they charge the people $1.50 just to see 'em. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Hey farmer, farmer, put away the DDT now. Give me spots on my apples, but bring me the birds and the bees. Please, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. Late last night, I heard the screen door slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you've got till it's gone? They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. They pay paradise, put up a parking lot. They pay paradise and put up a parking lot.
Good morning. I am Kim Chappell, and I am your worship associate for today. Welcome to you all on this beginning foggy but hopefully clearing day. It's my pleasure to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Lancaster. This week, we will see the end of Ramadan and International Earth Day, which we are celebrating here today. Here we come together to nourish the spirit, connect in love, and act for justice. We welcome you this morning just as you are, whatever your heritage, whatever your faith, whomever you love, however you identify. Today, you are part of this spiritual community. And if this is your first time here, may you soon discover that it is also your spiritual community. As has become our custom, let's give a special welcome to all those joining this service on Zoom. I invite those on Zoom to turn on your cameras and wave back at us, and we in the congregation will share a wave to the camera back there. During our time together, please do whatever you need to do to feel fully present in this space. Move, sway, walk around. If doing something with your hands helps you feel present, please feel free to use the materials on the tables in the Women's Memorial Room at the back of the sanctuary. Families with toddlers are welcome to use the playroom during the service, and someone will be able to show you where it is. All that we ask is that you leave it as you found it so that it's ready for the preschool co-op's use on Monday. And you can even use your device to follow along with the service while you watch your little ones. Instead of having a classroom lesson today, families are welcome to join with Suze Boyle in the playground. Is Suze here? There she is in the back right. However, if you are leaving a child or taking a child to the playground, which is in the back of the sanctuary, back of the church, a parent or guardian must remain at the playground with the children. Let us take a moment to consider this sacred space that we are now in and acknowledge the truth of the land beneath and around us. We are gathered on land once inhabited by people known as the Susquehannock and the Conestoga. We acknowledge the violent legacies of genocide, displacement, and settlement that led to us being here today, and remind ourselves to live humbly in relation to the land and with all the indigenous peoples still living and loving on this continent. Many indigenous people will say, "We are all relatives." May we live into this truth and aspiration together. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our minister, the Reverend Patricia Guthmann Haresch.
Thank you, Kim. Good morning, everybody. We're going to have a legal case in a little while. Mother Earth is upset and she's suing the people. So this is why we're a little different up here in front. And as Kim lights the chalice, I'm trying to make sure I'm not in front of the chalice. I'm going to share a poem from the late Barbara Deming. Oh, I'm getting, okay, a little direction. Okay. For those of you on Zoom, here I am. Okay. This is a poem that comes from the late Barbara Deming, and it's for our Mother Earth. Spirit of love that flows against our flesh, sets it trembling, moves across it as across grass, erasing every boundary that we accept, and swings the doors open of our lives wide. This is a prayer I sing. Save our perishing earth. Spirit that cracks our single selves, eyes fall down, eyes, hearts escape through the bars of our ribs to dart into other bodies. Save this earth, the earth is perishing. This is the prayer I sing. Spirit that hears each one of us, hears all that is, listens, hears us out, inspire us now. Our own pulse beats in every stranger's throat, and also there within the flowered ground beneath our feet. And teach us to listen. We can hear it in water, wood, and even in stone. We are earth of this earth, and we are bone of its bone. This is the prayer I sing. For we have forgotten this, so the earth is perishing. So may we listen and care for the earth. And Eli will lead us in singing number 1066 in the Teal hymnal, O Brother Sun.
O brother sun, you bring us light, all shining and round in fiery might. O sister moon, you heal and bless, your beauty shines in tenderness. O brother wind, you sweep the hills, your mighty breath both freshens and fills. O sister water, you cleanse and flow through rivers and streams and ice and snow. O brother fire, you warm our night with all the dancing colored light. O sister earth, you freed all things, all birds and creatures, whales and wings. O
That sounded beautiful. This is the time when I hope those who are children by age or of spirit will come on up and help me figure out what's in the Wonder Box. And then we'll see if it might inspire a story. Hey there, Bella. Hello. Oh, we're gonna go right in there. Wait for friends. Wait for friends. That's okay. Wait for friends. Okay, we got friends. Why don't we pull it out and see? Oh my gosh, what do you got there? We got stuff. What stuff do we have, Jean-Paul? Flowers and leaves. And what do you got? What do you think that is? That's a wooden sculpture of a tree. Trees and leaves. Now, Kim had shared there's some special things happening this week. Can you think of an important day that might have to do with trees and leaves that's coming up this week? Earth Day. That is so correct. Earth Day is coming up. And when I think about leaves and trees, there's a lot of stories we could share. There's one that I'm thinking of in particular, and do you know, this story is about 2,000 years old. But it's also a story that you can hear in a lot of different versions from a lot of different peoples. But this one comes from Jewish tradition, from an old text called the Talmud. And it's about a scholar that actually lived in the 1st century, which is amazing to me. So that's a long time ago. And his name was Honi. Honi traveled around on foot, and he was very smart. He was very wise. And one day, he was walking along the road, and he saw an older gentleman, had gray hair and seemed a little feeble, but he was planting a tree. And it wasn't just any tree. It was a carob tree that you could plant in the land of Israel. And Honi knew a little something about carob trees. And he said to me, excuse me, or he said to the gentleman, excuse me, sir, how many years does it take a carob to bear fruit, to have the carob come out of the tree? And the man told him what he knew. The man said, it takes 70 years for this tree to bear fruit. Is 70 years a long time? That's a pretty long time. Older than your dad. I mean, that's a long time. Your dad's a young man. Can you believe that's possible? And so he said, I don't mean to be impolite, but it is clear to you, isn't it, that you won't live long enough to see this tree bear fruit. Who are you planting this tree for? And the man said to him, when I was young, I was born into a world full of carob trees. Just as my ancestors, grandparents, and parents planted them for me, I will plant them for my children and my children's children. Honi kept this lovely thought in his mind, and he made his way down the road. And he had a little lunch that he packed up in a bag for himself along the way in his traveling sack. And he sat on a rock and he ate his lunch. And you know, sometimes after you eat, you can get a little drowsy. And Honi fell asleep on that rock. And do you know, he slept so long, trees grew up around him and hid him from anybody's view. Oh, he finally woke up. Oh, he said, boy, I really have a creak in my neck. You know? I wonder how long I slept for. It was kind of a magic sleep. And this is what we're going to find out about it. So he walked along the road and he went by that Well, he thought it was the same man and the same tree, but the man looked a little younger, just a little different. And he said to the man, "Were you that gentleman I spoke to that planted this tree that's, look, well, wait a minute, it's all grown up and it's bearing fruit." What did that mean? What did that mean? How long do you think he had slept for if that carob tree was bearing fruit? 70 years. Somehow he must have been really tired. Somehow he had slept for 70 years. And the gentleman that he was speaking to said, "Oh, no, sir, it wasn't me that you spoke to. You must have spoke to my grandpa, who planted this tree for me and my children, just as I'll plant more trees for them. And so it will go." So I thought of that story because that's really what Earth Day is all about, is if we take care of Mother Earth, it's not just for ourselves, and it's not just for our community, but it will be for those who live beyond us, perhaps our children and our children's children. So may you hold that in your heart as we think of Earth Day, and you may return to your seats or wherever your parents might take you as you go.
You're welcome to come with your parents or to the playground.
So either to the playground with your parents or the nursery with your parents, or even hang around for the legal matter that will be happening.
For the play.
And we will sing you as you go. Number 1057 in the teal hymnal.
Go lifted up, love bless your way, moonlight, starlight, guide your journey into peace and the brightness of day.
And now it's time to center ourselves, how appropriately. Right here in ourselves, in this space, and go to that place at our center. Go to that center of ourselves, our hearts. And for this time and for this day and thinking about Earth Day, I bring to you a prayer that's called the Great Spirit Prayer of the Kootenai tribe of Idaho. O Great Spirit, whose voice I hear in the wind, whose breath gives life to all the world, let me walk in beauty and make my eyes ever behold the red and purple sunset. Make my hands respect the things you have made, and my ears sharp to hear your voice. Make me wise so that I may understand the things you have taught my people. Help me to remain calm and strong in the face of all that comes toward me. Let me learn the lessons you have hidden in every leaf and rock. Help me seek pure thoughts and act with the intention of helping others. Help me find compassion without empathy overwhelming me. I seek strength not to be greater than my brother, but to fight my greatest enemy, myself. Make me always ready to come to you with clean hands and straight eyes, so when life fades as the fading sunset, my spirit may come to you without shame. May it be so. And as we do this morning, I will name out loud some joys and sorrows and complex truths. And as I do, Kim will be planting our stones that are really seeds of compassion and healing and joy, to think about spreading tendrils out into the world. I will name some out loud, and then you're welcome, if you wish, to come in silence and plant stones of joy and sorrow and complex truths as well. I'm really thinking a stone of concern for the capital of Sudan, Khartoum. There's unrest there now, and no one's really sure who's in charge, the rebels or the government. And I'm thinking of it because yesterday I looked at my Facebook. Some of you know my husband is retired now from the State Department, but we came here, we returned to the US as a State Department family, and that world is kind of small. And so one of my friends I met in Colombia is in Khartoum with the State Department. And I've been looking at her Facebook frequently, and she said, "Don't worry, don't worry, I'm sheltering in place. Yeah, there's some explosions I hear from time to time, but I'm okay for now." And so I'm thinking of Sarah, I'm thinking of all in Sudan and Khartoum, so a stone of concern. But I'm also really, that made me think of all the places in civil strife, right, and unrest. I'm thinking of maybe a handful of stones of care and compassion for Sudan and Somalia and Myanmar and Syria, the Congo, Yemen, Ukraine, Israel, Ethiopia, places of prolonged conflict, Haiti. It may be because of environmental things or political things or poverty, food scarcity, but may we be mindful of all those places. A stone of sadness and care for, and our hearts are with the Sneath family when we learned after a prolonged illness struggle that Romaine Sneath has died. And we keep Gordon in our hearts and the children. But a stone of joy for another of our Unitarian Universalist congregations. Every Sunday we have met, we've been really thinking about the land and what happened here in Lancaster with the end of a people, of the Susquehannock and the also known as the Conestoga. Our brother, sister, family congregation of the Unitarian Congregation of Westchester in Pennsylvania, on this morning, just at this time, are having a special service where they will be paying the Lenni Lenape people reparations. They have been collecting money over the years and will be giving that to the Lenape people. So I think that's amazing and wondrous. It makes me sad, so a stone of concern. There are no Conestoga for us to pay reparations to. So let us consider how we might do so after their death. We have recently, through the Walters Unitarian Trust, have given a grant to the Indigenous Museum, and there will be a display opening up soon in May that will be dedicated. So we're doing things, we're trying to do things, though we don't have people eye to eye that we can pay reparations to. Those are the things I wanted to say out loud, and it's now at this time that you're welcome to come forward and leave some stones in silence. Let us take one more moment to be still. And I'm just going to let you know, in order to get into costume for the next moment, I will be walking down the aisle, but no need to worry. I'll be back. But let us take a moment and be still together. Take a precious moment of quiet in a room full of people. Doesn't happen very often. We'll breathe in and we'll breathe out all together. And we'll have our hearts beating all together. So let us breathe in and breathe out and keep breathing in and out. Don't stop. Keep breathing in and out and let us be still.
It's not that easy being green, having to spend each day the color of the leaves, when I think it could be nicer being red or yellow or gold, or something much more colorful than that. It's not easy being green. It seems you blend in with so many ordinary things, and people tend to pass you over, 'cause you're not standing out like flashing sparkles in the water or stars in the sky. But green's the color of spring, and green can be cool and friendly like. And green can be big like a mountain, or important like a river, or tall like a tree. When green is all there is to be, it could make you wonder why. But why wonder, why wonder? I am green, that'll do fine. It's beautiful, and I think it's what I want to be.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please stand. The jury may be seated.
The International Court of Last Resort is now in session. What's going on here today, officer?
Your Honor, we have a case of Mother Earth versus world's people.
Mother Earth versus world's people, really? What's the charge?
Mother Earth is challenging old people with acting in ways to cause her grievous personal harm and limit her inherent civil rights to be fruitful existence.
That's right. That's a very serious charge, Mother Earth.
Yes, Your Honor, but it's a very serious situation. I've been patient with the world's people long enough. I'm here to take action.
This is most unusual. Mother Earth seems really upset. Has she ever done this before?
I believe so, Your Honor. Remember the dinosaurs?
Yeah. Of course. I wasn't alive then, though. The court rules this to be an important and valid case, Mother Earth. You may call your first witness.
I objection. Objection, Your Honor. This isn't fair. There's no solid proof of global warming. So states the past president of the United States.
I wonder.
The majority of the world's people don't even realize that collectively acting against Mother Earth. Therefore, they're innocent. I call for a dismissal.
Ignorance of irresponsible behavior is no defense. Objection overruled. You may proceed, Mother Earth.
Your Honor, I call Ms. Melting Glacier. Ms. Melting Glacier, would you please tell the jury the location of your home?
On Mont Blanc, ma'am, in France.
And what is happening to you and your friends, the other glaciers on that well-known mountain around the world?
We're melting. 86% of us around the world are melting.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. Glaciers melt all the summer, every summer. There's no damages here.
Is that true, Miss Glacier?
Yes, Your Honor, or at least they used to, but now it's different.
Well, how so?
Normally, we melt in the summer, and in the winter, the snows come and we freeze again. So over thousands of years, we have remained the same size.
And now?
Everything has changed, Your Honor. The winters are no longer cold enough to freeze us again. We're melting all year long.
I see. Thank you, Miss Glacier. Objection overruled.
And in North America?
When Glacier National Park was opened in Montana about 100 years ago, 150 of my glacier cousins called it a home. Now there are only 26 of my family left there, and they're melting too.
Please tell the jury what all this melting causes, Miss Glacier.
Gladly, ma'am. Because we are all melting so fast, we are flooding the lands below us, washing out crops, roads, bridges, sometimes even entire villages.
And then?
As we melt, we're getting smaller and smaller. If this continues, someday we will be completely gone.
And what if you are, Miss Glacier?
If we're completely gone, our runoff water is gone with us. The people will have no harvest to eat, no water to drink or bathe or wash their clothes. I don't know where they'll go or what they'll do. You know us, Mother Earth. My glacier family and ice caps contain 68% of the world's water, fresh water. In China alone, Your Honor, 300 million people depend on our runoff, and we're disappearing. What will they do without our runoff? Their rivers will dry up and die.
Please, tell us about the plants and the animals, Miss Glacier.
With these things happening so fast, many plants and animals can't adapt quickly enough to survive. We fear someday they may be gone too.
along with us.
Miss Glacier, what seems to be causing your rapid melting problems?
It's getting too warm, Your Honor, much too warm. We have never had such warm winters as this before, not for thousands and thousands of years.
Thank you, Ms. Glacier. You may step down. Your Honor, for my next witness, I call Ms. Rising Ocean. Ms. Oceans, I and many others around the world observe that you are rising. That if you continue, someday you will cover many of my lovely coastal cities, Miami, Tokyo, London, Bombay, San Francisco, New York, large parts of Holland, Bangladesh, Florida, and many other areas would also be underwater.
Is that true, Miss Oceans? About you possibly covering major coastal cities and small ones too?
I'm afraid it is, Your Honor. Maybe before the end of the century. But it's not my fault. World's people are burning so much fossil fuel, giving off carbon dioxide, that it's making Mother Earth's temperature rise. Just look at her. She's all flushed. Oh.
Now that you mention it, she does look uncomfortably warm.
As dear Ms. Glacier already told you, when it gets warmer, ice melts and sends water down to me, and I get higher. And when I'm warmer, thermal expansion also makes me bigger and higher, so it's really not my fault. Blame world's people for burning so much fossil fuel.
Objection, Your Honor, objection. Global warming is fake news. It's not the people's fault. The Earth's temperature naturally goes through cycles up and down.
Your Honor, over 97% of the world's climate scientists agree that such things as world's people burning of fossil fuels has contributed substantially to global warming and the climate changes Ms. Oceans has just described.
97%, you say?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh. Well, that's good enough for me. Objection overruled.
Now, Ms. Oceans, please tell the jury what else lies beneath your warming waters.
You mean the...
Yes, Ms. Oceans, those.
I hesitated to bring them up, ma'am. They scare even me, and I'm big.
No, go ahead and tell the jury, please. They need to know.
All right, if you say so, ma'am. So lying on the bottom of some of my oceans, well out of sight, are tons, gigatons, of the most powerful of all the so-called greenhouse gases, methane. It's 20 times more powerful than its better-known cousins, carbon dioxide.
But methane is a gas, Miss Ocean. We all know that. How can it be at the bottom of the ocean?
Well, Your Honor, gases can be liquefied, and liquids can be frozen, and that's the state it's in. Lying frozen on my cold seabeds in the form of solid methane hydrates, sort of like methane ice.
Sort of like methane ice. Oh, my pages got mixed up. And there's a lot of it?
Your scientists estimate I have as much methane hydrates under my oceans as there is coal in the entire world. After all, I cover almost 71% of Mother Earth's surface.
And if your ocean waters get warm enough to start melting those tons and tons of methane hydrates, Miss Oceans?
To put it politely as I can, Your Honor, all you know what would break loose. What your scientists are now calling a methane burp, but far more powerful at disrupting Mother Earth's atmosphere than any burping baby's mother could ever imagine.
And what can you do to prevent such a disaster?
Frankly, Your Honor, nothing. But it's not my fault. It's the world people continue burning fossil fuels like there's no tomorrow. Well, We oceans are just going to have to get warmer and warmer. And then some terrible day for Mother Earth, maybe sooner, maybe later, we oceans will start burping methane.
And if they do, I will get really hot.
Really, really hot.
And for world's people, that can mean there is no tomorrow.
Your Honor, do you see why I'm so angry?
I think I'm beginning to understand, Mother Earth. I'm beginning to understand.
Thank you, Miss Oceans. You have been most helpful.
It's not my fault.
For my next witness, Your Honor, I call Ms. Extreme Weather.
She's a mess.
Miss Extreme Weather.
You may call me extreme.
Extreme. How would you describe yourself, please?
I represent many fronts. As a group, we're terribly costly, both to people and property. We can take off rooftops and knock out world people's electricity just like that.
And are you happening more and more frequently these days?
Us hurricanes, typhoons, cyclones, blizzards, and tornadoes are getting stronger and stronger. Already in 2023, the U.S. has suffered from nearly 300 tornadoes, some causing death and destruction.
And how do you account for such an increase?
Well, hurricanes are like any other tourists. We love cruising over warm waters. It's like a shot of adrenaline. It really is. Global warming is doing us just great. Global warming is doing just great by us and cyclones, the supercell tornadoes and winters.
Any questions for the witness, Mr. Defense?
Yes, Your Honor, just one. Mrs. Extreme Weather, scientists disagree as to the relationship between you and global warming. Can you prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the human-caused global warming is anything to do with your monstrous rampages? Can you? Well, terrible hurricanes, horrible winters, and record-breaking tornadoes have occurred before.
And can you prove beyond a shadow of a doubt, Ms. Attorney, that human-caused global warming is not responsible for my frequent and powerful visitations on world's people?
Well, I guess not.
I will make myself very clear. Weather does not make any moral judgments. We do not decide which old levees collapse and which hold back my strong surges, which houses can withstand us or not. We do not decide who gets evacuated and who gets left behind to die. That's your business, your problem, not ours. When world's people gives us warmer waters to play on, hurricanes blow even harder. The warmer waters decision is yours, not ours. It is you who burns fossil fuels, not us. Have I made myself clear? I feel I could just blow.
No need. Thank you, Miss Extreme. Thank you very much. For my next witness, Your Honor, I call Ms. Polar Bear and her cub Little Bear. Welcome, Miss Bear. But where is Little Bear? I understood she was coming with you.
She was really looking forward to it.
So what happened?
Actually, ma'am, it's what didn't happen.
I think I know what that was, but please tell the jury.
What didn't happen this year was winter.
Winter didn't happen, but you live in the Arctic. Isn't it almost always winter? And what does that have to do with your cub not being here?
Go ahead, Mrs. Bear. Tell Her Honor and the jury about this past winter.
In a word, winter was too warm. And when winter is too warm, it doesn't refreeze the sea ice that melts in the summer. Even humans should be able to figure that out. And when it doesn't refreeze the sea ice, it leaves open water, lots of it, between where we are and where we want to hunt. And when we can't hunt, we can't eat. And when we can't eat, we can't feed our cubs. And when we can't feed our cubs, we...
Thank you, Mrs. Bear, thank you. But please, tell them about the open water situation.
Yes, of course. excuse me, but feeding our cubs is so important.
Of course.
The open water areas are getting larger and larger all the time, until some of you humans say that in the summertime there may soon be open water from the Pacific clear to the Atlantic, right through our ice.
And what does this mean to you and Little Bear?
It means I have to swim farther and farther between the ice floes to find our favorite food, the seals. I can swim about 40 miles or more, but...
Excuse me, Mrs. Bear, did you say swim 40 miles?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, it's more float and paddle, but it gets me to an icy hunting area, me and Little Bear. I carry her on my back, or at least I used to. But now there's so much open water that I'm having to swim farther and farther, and it's just too far to carry Little Bear. And we are hearing of friends who set out swimming but never come back. It's a very sad time.
And that is why Little Bear is not with you?
Yes, ma'am. I had to swim almost 62 miles to reach ice strong enough to hold me and on the way here, and that's just too far to carry Little Bear. She was very disappointed.
I understand you are vulnerable, yet not declared an endangered species in the U.S., but could be getting near to facing extinction. How do you feel about that?
Both frightened and encouraged, but if it means something will happen to get world's people to stop putting out so much of what do you call them? Greenhouse gases? Maybe we can continue to live with the walruses and the seals and the caribou and the white foxes and all of our other Arctic neighbors. The warmth and the melting ice will affect all of them, you know.
Yes, I know, Mrs. Bear. Only too well do I know. And the time is growing short to help you. For every summer and winter, now there is more and more open water. The less snow and ice there is to reflect back the sun's rays, the more dark water is exposed to soak up those rays, the warmer and warmer it all gets, until it's too late to stop the process, the tipping point.
Excuse me, ma'am, Your Honor, but I must get back to Little Bear. She misses me, and I know it is a very long swim home.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Polar Bear, and my warmest regards to Little Bear and all her friends. I will, of course, do everything I can to help, but it is now really up to the world's people. Only they can stop spewing out their emissions. Goodbye, my dear.
Safe trip home.
As my next witness, Your Honor, I call Miss Coral Reef. She is representing her coral reef families all over my world. Welcome, Mrs. Reef. Are you okay, Mrs. Reef?
I've been collapsing all over the world, ma'am. I'm just trying to keep it all together.
What's wrong with her, Mother Earth? Every coral reef I've ever seen has all sorts of beautiful colors. You know, bright and cheerful. If I do say so, and I apologize, Miss Reef, but you do look a bit washed out.
I'll let her tell you about it, Your Honor. Mrs. Reef, Coral, please tell Her Honor and the jury what is happening to you and your brothers and sisters in oceans all over my world.
Yes, ma'am. It's really sad. Putting it as simply as I can, the coral reefs are dying. And when we die, the reefs go down with us. And they're built from our shells, you know.
And Coral, share with us why your reefs are so important.
Coral reefs have been called the rainforests of the ocean because of all the varieties of sea plants and life that live on and in and around us. If we're gone, there's nowhere else for them to go, Mother. Nowhere. All those beautiful little fish. Mother Earth. Oh. Can you believe this, Your Honor? The world's people have sunk this old aircraft carrier, and they're calling it a reef. That's ridiculous. A reef, Your Honor. That's not a reef. What do they know?
I understand, dear. Believe me, I understand. Can you tell our jury how this happens? Why you've lost your beautiful colors? Why some world's people must not know the difference between an aircraft carrier and a coral reef?
I'll try, ma'am. You see, we corals, we live in water temperatures that are very close to the highest temperatures that we can stand. Yes, I know that's dangerous. That's just the way we are. So when the water gets just a couple of degrees, a little bit too warm, those blessed little algae that live among us and help us with our color and our food have to leave. Then what remains is just us and the white calcium skeletons.
And that's called bleaching?
Yes, ma'am, and without our food, if the water doesn't cool quickly enough, we die.
That's terrible, Ms. Reeve. Is this happening in many places?
Yes, it is. My family's reefs from all over, from Florida Keys to Tobago, Barbados, Panama, Cuba, and Costa Rica, and that's just in the Caribbean area. It's also true in the Pacific, Indian Oceans, everywhere. In the Gulf of Florida, almost 95% of my elkhorn and staghorn brothers have passed away. We just don't know where it will happen next. The world's people are giving off so many emissions, and the oceans are getting warmer and warmer. And when they do, my family members die.
That's all right, dear. It's not your fault.
But why can't the world's people stop doing this to us, Mother Earth? Why? For thousands of years, we've protected their shorelines and given fish a place to spawn and live, treated their tourists to colorful underwater experiences. Why are they doing this to my family? Australia's Great Barrier Reef is one of our proudest accomplishments. It's been there for almost 18 million years. Yet the world's people have undermined its very existence in less than one of their tiny little lifetimes. My family, my poor family.
You see, before you, the terrible effects the world's people are causing to my inhabitants by their excessive burning of fossil fuels.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. Mother Earth cannot be giving the jury directions directly and at this point in the trial.
That's true. Objection sustained. Mother Earth, please limit your comments to the witness and to this bench.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Coral, thank you so much for your testimony. We all realize, don't we, what a terrible ordeal you and the rest of your Coral family are going through. We can only hope that testimony such as yours will wake the world's people up to the damage and dangers their emissions are causing. Thank you again, my dear. Thank you.
And thank you, Mother. We're counting on you.
Your Honor, as my next witness, I call Mr. Hummerdinger. That is if he had a place big enough to park his vehicle. Welcome, Mr. Dinger. Did you find it large enough place to park?
Oh, yes, ma'am. No trouble at all. An 18-wheeler was pulling away from the courthouse loading dock just as I came in, so I parked in his spot.
I'm pleased to hear that.
This is a great perspective up here, Your Honor. I'm more used to being a lot higher than other people. I call it overseeing. From my Hummer, I can oversee just about everyone else on the road. Gives me a feeling of security, of power.
I see. And this feeling of power is a good feeling, Mr. Dinger?
Oh, yes. When the little woman and I are driving to war movies, my favorite movies, I can imagine I'm patrolling the streets of Baghdad. You know, a .50 caliber mounted on the roof and surrounded by armor plate. It's really quite a very secure feeling.
Huh. I guess I can imagine.
Mr. Dinger, as you may have heard, perhaps accidentally, there's a high level of scientific concern about global warming, the warming of my atmosphere being accelerated by world's people burning of fossil fuels. Have you heard the term? It is sometimes connected with the term climate change.
Yeah, I think there was an article in the paper a while back that mentioned something about it. I didn't pay much attention to it, though. There weren't any financials connected with it, so what's the point? As you know, ma'am, I'm a businessman. Not one of these overpaid academic pseudoscientists running from one left-wing talk show to another. Some scaredy cat, talking about some scaredy cat global warming. Not one of them has any business sense, any idea of what's made America great. Production, that's what it's all about, ma'am. Unfettered production. That's what has given us the world's best lifestyle, all the things we own and enjoy, like my Hummer.
Thank you for the business school crash course, Mr. Dinger. You're right, of course, it's all about production. So would you be so kind as to share with the jury the gas mileage your Hummer produces?
Sure, it's rated at 10 miles per gallon. But if I'm going cross-country and none of the family are using the air conditioning, the DVD player, the television, the Xbox, the hot tub, we can get 11 miles per gallon. Once I even got 11.5 miles per gallon, but that was going downhill from Camp Fortune. Why do you ask?
Oh, just wondering, Mr. Dinger, just wondering. And how is your Hummer's mileage when you take it off-road, its intended use?
You've got to be joking, ma'am. Taking my baby out into the boondocks? Oh no, not this kid. Why, it takes 2 hours and nearly 100 gallons of water to get it cleaned up against, if we get even rain sprinkles on it on a dusty day. No siree, this baby stays on the highway.
And you could share with the jury, Mr. Dinger, why you and your family happened to choose this vehicle?
Well, the family didn't really have much to do with it. I'm a car guy in our house, and it was my choice. It's really a guy's vehicle, you know. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a woman driving one.
Then how did you happen to choose it?
I wanted something that you don't see on every block in the neighborhood, even where I live, you know. Something that stands out at the club. Every guy I know wants one. I should have opened a dealership.
You've been very helpful, Mr. Dinger. I have just one more question.
Bring it on. Don't hold back, Mother Earth.
Do you believe your Hummer driving habits would change much if gasoline went up to, say, $5 a gallon or higher?
Oh, Mother Earth. You're too much, just too much. I paid nearly $150,000 for my H1 Hummer. For more formal stuff, I had a 300 SE Mercedes. My wife has a 450 Lexus, and a little Miata just for fun. My son drives back and forth to school in a customized Corvette. Do you really think the price of gasoline would make even a tiny little difference in how or what we drive? Hardly. I mean, my Hummer has two 51-gallon diesel gas tanks. Multiply that by the price of gasoline of diesel, and you'll see that if I worried about the price, I wouldn't even take it out of the driveway.
Not a bad idea. Get to your point, Mr. Dinger.
But I have to run, ma'am. I imagine they'll be wanting my parking spot at the loading dock.
I imagine so, Mr. Dinger. Thank you for coming. Your information has been most enlightening.
You're most welcome. Anytime. Just give me a call on the old cell phone. Ciao.
Thank you, Mother Earth. Are the principals ready to present their closing summaries to the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense attorney, you may begin.
Of course, Your Honor. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I sit here before you embarrassed. Yes, embarrassed as a member of the legal profession. Embarrassed that a legal proceeding has forced you to sit here and listen to some of the most blatant pseudo-scientific poppycock that I've ever heard in a courtroom. I ask you, does Mother Earth expect you to believe for even 1 minute that melting glaciers in France are caused by you driving your SUV or to the grocery store here in Lancaster? Poppycock. That any rising sea level around the world could be the result of burning wonderful smelling wood in your own fireplace on a cold winter evening? Poppycock. That Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans and a super tornado landed nearby because you used a little extra electricity to keep your Christmas lights on to welcome Santa Claus? Excuse me, but I don't think so. Neither do some of our elected officials or for hire expert witnesses. Now, let's be honest about what some so-called environmentalists are reporting a few isolated places in the world. Mother Earth, despite her whining here today, has been waxing hot and cold for millions of years. That happens to a middle-aged woman.
Excuse me?
You all know that it is simply neither fair nor scientifically accurate for her to complain that it is caused by the daily activities of ordinary, hardworking world's people and the so-called scientists. Everyone knows that our scientists make their money on grants from liberal foundations, so without the cockamamie project to research, they have no incomes, and liberal colleges and universities have no students. The so-called global warming is really that simple. A dreamed-up event to promote some scientists' pet causes and to raise their incomes. It's fake news. That's all. In closing, I surely hope that intelligent people such as yourselves have not been taken back by these ludicrous factions and false charges against my innocent clients, the world people. Instead, I hope you realize the wonderful product-filled life fossil fuels allow us to have. And we wouldn't want to jeopardize that now, would we? And all the lucrative jobs that go with them. Of course not. So please, save any further waste of your time and mine and vote to declare my world's people clients are innocent of these downright silly charges. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I thank you for your attention.
It's a little difficult to say, but I must. Thank you, Mr. Defense Attorney. And now Mother Earth.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, members of the press. As you know, I have been around for a very long time, and during that time, I have kept myself reasonably in balance. Mr. Defense Attorney is correct in saying that over those eons of time, I have had many changes from hot to cold and back again. What he neglected to remind you of, however, is that my temperature changes typically occurred over thousands of years, sometimes tens of thousands. But not this time, not this time. Since world's people industrial revolution, the amount of warmth-producing gases in my atmosphere has climbed to the highest level in almost 650,000 years. Global warming is not new. Your scientists were alarmed by the rapid increase in greenhouse gases since your 1970s. Some warnings even then have the effects I'm experiencing now. Yet even knowing that I would be harmed, world's people did not change their behaviors in any significant way to avoid harming me. That, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, is why I'm bringing charges. I will not tolerate it, and neither should you. As you well know, I am a very small planet in a vast universe, but I am the only home for the world's people. There is nowhere else for them to go. Frankly, I can get along quite well without them, but they certainly cannot get along without me. Be assured that as long as I receive energy from sun, I can adapt to the changes the world's people emissions will cause me. But I must warn you, and out of my affection for you, I urge you to listen carefully. My methods of adapting may be such that world's people can no longer continue to live with me. If that is the case, I of course will miss them. In some ways, they've been fun, but in many ways, they've not been so good to me, so I may not miss them for long. The dinosaurs were fun too, but when they were gone, I really didn't miss them for more than, 10,000 years or so. As you will recall, Mrs. Polar Bear mentioned her baby. I truly hope that in your deliberations, you too will consider the future stretching out before the world's children. With that sincere wish, I close with these words from author John Ashton. Our children may forgive us these debts we're passing on to them. They may forgive us if terrorism persists. They may forgive us for waging war instead of pursuing peace. They may even forgive us for squandering the opportunity to put the nuclear genie back in the bottle. But they will spit on our bones and curse our names if we pass on a world that is barely habitable when it was within our power to prevent it, and they have the right to do so. Thank you for your time and your respectful attention.
Thank you, Mother Earth. And so, jury, now comes the time for the moment of these proceedings. Are you all prepared to render a decision in the case of Mother Earth versus world's people? Good. Oh. You all went ahead before the bailiff gave you the instruction. That's okay. We'll move on. As you know, the determination of guilt or innocence in cases such as this is determined by a simple majority vote of the jury. What we're going to call is for you to say a yes, guilty, or no, not guilty. And maybe the bailiff can help with the count.
Yes, Your Honor.
The bailiff's assistant said yes. Will all jurors who have found that world's people are guilty as charged of carrying out grievous damages against Mother Earth and limiting her civil rights to a fruitful existence so signify by saying aye? Aye. Thank you. Did you get the count?
We did.
Will all those who found world's people innocent of the charges so signify by saying nay? We have one nay. You know, I think the...
What do you think was louder, the ayes or the nays?
Ayes.
Ayes. I think the ayes carried the day. And so, world's people have been found guilty. Please certify the results in the court records. Stepping outside of my official duties as judge of the court, I must say that I'm very pleased with your verdict. You have determined that world's people, through a collective combination of negligence and irresponsibility, have put civilization as we know it at risk. Given your verdict, I sentence the guilty parties to community service, the length to be commensurate with the success of said public service in lowering greenhouse gas emissions. Mother Earth, I leave the details of the community service to you. Would you please inform the jury of world's people what you require of them to help alleviate the grievous harm they are causing you?
With pleasure, Your Honor. I have 3 community service actions that every one of you can take to limit the harm you are now doing to my climate. Number 1, change your light bulbs. Compact fluorescent light bulbs last for years and use quarter of the energy of regular bulbs. Saving energy due to my atmosphere and planet. You may also save hundreds of household budget dollars over the long term because of your longer life. If every American household replaced a burnt-out bulb with a compact fluorescent bulb, it would prevent more than 13 billion pounds of CO2 from entering my atmosphere, which is equivalent to taking more than 1 million of your fossil fuel-burning cars off your jammed highways for an entire year. Number 2, drive your car differently, or drive a different car. The truth is that your car emits as much CO2 as your entire house. Anything you can do to improve the fuel efficiency of your car will have a very positive impact on climate change. Buying a fuel-efficient car, like a hybrid, is wonderful, but not all of you can do that, at least not immediately. I understand that. In the meantime, there are things that you can do with your present car to be more fuel efficient. 1, you can drive less. Every year, Americans as a whole drive more miles than they did the year before. Walk or ride a bike when possible. Number 2, telecommute to work whenever possible. Number 3, use public transportation at every opportunity. 4, get your car tuned up. Make it run as efficiently as possible. 5, slow down. For every mile per hour you drive slower at highway speeds, you reduce your fuel consumption and your gasoline bill by 2%. Number 3, your house. Keep it not too hot, not too cold. Tune up your heating system. Do this one thing at least every 2 years. Can significantly reduce your use of energy. Clean its vents, close any unused vents, and change the filters. Buy a programmable thermostat which can regulate different temperatures at different times of the day. If you already have one, use it. I understand that 3/4 of you people with programmable thermostats don't even use them. Add 2 degrees to an air conditioner's thermostat in summer and lower it 2 degrees in the winter. If everyone did that, the energy saved would be greatly help my atmosphere. Okay, that's it. All the time I have for now. I'm counting on you. Remember what Margaret Mead said many, many years ago. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing we have that will last. Thank you for your help. I know you'll give me. I truly hope we can live together for a long, long time. But remember, the choice whether we can continue to live together is yours, not mine.
Thank you, Mother Earth. So to all of world's people and the jury, I charge you to carry out all 3 of Mother Earth's community services. You are all on probation with the court. If my probation officers tell me I need to see you back in here again, believe me, I'll bring back the whole lot of you, maybe next Sunday. Meanwhile, thank all of you for your excellent work here today. Good day to all. And you don't have, we were going to have you rise and I was going to leave and all this stuff. Don't worry about it. I just want to thank everybody who participated and all the witnesses. I love the fan. I did love the fan. And you can all return to your seats. And I think it's time to sing. We're going to sing Blue Boat Home, number 1064 in the Teal hymnal.
You are certainly welcome to stand if you would like, or rise in body or spirit. Number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. Give it everything you've got for the last verse. Ready? I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the vast my blue boat home.
This is the time in our service when we pass the plate and accept your offerings. You may also go to our website to make a donation online. A portion of the offering will be shared this month with the Lancaster Cleft Palate Clinic. Established in 1938, it is the oldest clinic in the world devoted to the comprehensive care of children born with cleft lips and palates and other craniofacial anomalies, regardless of their ability to pay. Before we pass the plate, let us read in unison the affirmation of faith that's found in the front of your gray hymnal, and I think it will appear in the Zoom chat as well. First in English and then in Spanish. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. El amor es el espíritu de esta iglesia, y el servicio es su ofrenda. Este es nuestro gran pacto, el convivir unidos en paz, el buscar la verdad en amor, y ayudarnos unos a los otros. While the plates are passed, I'll be making some announcements, and following them, feel free to greet your neighbors in the pew in front and behind you. The plates may now be passed. Do look to our weekly email newsletter, the Love Letter for weekly needs to know and events at UUCL, as well as our Facebook page and our website calendar. And to sign up for the newsletter, you can contact the office. I have a few additional announcements. Next Sunday will be our annual pledge kickoff, and I believe you had an insert in your order of service, which I'm now not finding. Thank you very much. It will be the focus of our next week's Sunday service by Reverend Pat. And there will be a reception following the service. I will not take the time to read this to you, which should have been in your order of service. And also, would you like to be part of a statewide action for justice in alliance with other denominations and congregations? Next Saturday and Sunday, Power Interfaith will be having a training for anyone interested in making a difference in Lancaster County and Pennsylvania. The Love Letter this past week had a link to register for both of the trainings. Reverend Pat will be attending this Sunday afternoon session. And I see the collection has been taken, so we gratefully receive these generous gifts freely given and dedicate them to the work and aspirations of this congregation.
Thank you, Kim. And as we extinguish the chalice today, I read some words from Max Ehrmann's Desiderata. Go placidly amid the noise and haste. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. Therefore, be at peace. In the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham drudgery and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love. May it be so.
And if you'd like to sing along with one last song, we've done this one before, Jack Johnson and Ben Harper, the song With My Own Two Hands. I just want to let you know the chorus kind of goes like this. It's really simple. with my own two hands. You'll say that with me, ready? With my own two hands. One more time. With my own two hands. I can change the world with my own two hands. Make it a better place with my own two hands. Make it a kinder place with my own two hands. With my own two hands. Awesome. I can make peace on earth with my own two hands. I can clean up the earth with my own two hands. I can reach out to you with my own two hands. With my own two hands. One more time, here we go. With my own two hands. I'm gonna make a brighter place with my own two hands. I'm gonna make a safer place with my own two hands. I'm gonna help the human race with my own two hands. With my own two hands. Oh, with my own two hands. I can hold you with my own two hands.